Hi guys, welcome to Top Stitch Tailoring Studio, formerly known as Ugampoa Fashions, and in today's video I'm privileged to bring you the easy way on how to draft, cut and sew a coat or a blazer jacket. That's part 1, and in our part 1 we're going to look at the measurements and the body measurements required. We will begin with the coat or blazer full length. I abbreviate it as FL. We will also have the shoulder to shoulder measurements. I also abbreviate it as XB. We also need the chest or bust circumference. That's the chest. And not forgetting, we shall need the hip circumference as well as the tummy circumference. Others call it the belly, the stomach. Then we shall also need the across the back measurements, then across the front measurements. So ladies and gentlemen, we shall also need the sleeve lengths. Abbreviate it as SL, then the bicep circumference, then also we shall need the elbow circumference, then lastly we shall need the calf openings. So all those are a must if you are in need of making a coat, not forgetting the neck depths as well as the widths. So in this video we're going to look at the theory calculations of a single breast notched collar coat stroke a blazer jacket, which is divided into 3 panels. That is the back panel, front panel as well as the side panel. And the case study measurements that we will be using in our video or in our project will be the full length of our coat will be 29 inches. The shoulder to shoulder measurements, I abbreviate it as the XB, will be 16 inches. Then the chest circumference will be 36. The belly or the tummy is 34 inches. Then the hip round is 37. Don't forget the sleeve length of our project is 24 inches. So ladies and gentlemen, let us get started and jump straight away to the calculations. So now in a simplified summarized calculations, here is a table. This table I made it. So let us go through this table and watch critically and do calculations. You see our table has A, B, C, D, E, F, G and H. And getting these lines, these are horizontal lines of which to determine them, we have to make vertical calculations. So now line A, of which that is the shoulder line, where the shoulder slope begins and where you're going to place your neckline, no calculations. It is just a straight line and the straight line in your fabric. Then the shoulder slope, to get the shoulder slope from this from this shoulder line, you will have to calculate the chest circumference divided by 24. That is 36, because we have our case study measurements as per the above table here, this table. So now we shall have 36 divided by 24, giving us 1.5 inches. Then to get chest line, of which that's the bust line, that's line C, we shall have to divide chest measurements, that's 36, divided by 4, giving us 9. Then the narrowest, or you can call it the belly, the tummy, you will have to divide the coat full length, of which it is 29 inches, divide by 2 plus 2 inches, giving us 16.5. Then the coat full length, we shall have to add plus 0.5, that's a half inch for easeward, for it is ease. So that will be 29 plus 0.5, giving us 29.5 inches. Then don't forget the hem allowance of our jacket will be 1.5 inches. That is line number F. Then for the back, in this table below, I calculated for the back, across the back. To get this line, you have to divide chest measurements divided by 24. That is 36 divided by 24, giving us 1.5. And you measure it upwards from the line, from chest line C. moving upwards. That's where you're going to locate the across the back. Then across the front, before we reach to the front part, you will have to divide the chest measurements, that is 36 divided by 16, giving us 2.25, and still also they originate from line C upwards. So you will have to measure from the chest line going up 2.5 inches. Those are the simple calculations on how to get these vertical placements of your measurements. So now you know where to put your shoulder line, shoulder slope, chest line, narrow waist, coat full length, hemline, as well as across the back for the back panel and across the front for the front panel. Now you've known how to locate your areas of a jacket in a vertical way, and this table has all the calculations. Now it is the variation of your client vary. If like here I have 36 inches as the chest, but your client can be 40, can be 20, can be 50. So you divide any measurements of your client by the number that you're seeing in the table to come up with the vertical placement of your of your areas of interest. That is the slope, that's the chest line, the narrow waist, the coat full length, the hemline across the back, as well as the chest. Though the driving force of this is the chest line, the chest measurements. So now let us see, after you've finished filling your vertical measurements, let us see in this table we are going to put our horizontal placement. So now we are beginning with the line B. Remember, line A, there is no big calculations which is involved there because it is where every measurements begin from. So now horizontal measurements in line B, that's the shoulder slope line. Remember, our shoulders is 16 inches. Divide by 2 and plus plus a half inch. That's is allowance or seam allowance, giving us 8.5 inches. Then we go back to line A. Now we are going to place our neck depths as well as the neck widths. So now the neck width, we are going to divide the chest measurements, divide by 12. For example, 36 divided by 12 giving us 3. Then the neck depths, we are going to divide the chest measurements by 48. That is 36 divided by 48 giving us 3/4. Then you place upwards. You're going to place it upwards. So now we are going to see them in our practical part when we are making drafts. So just grasp this table and put in mind, repeatedly watch it and note it somewhere for future references. So now after you've finished step 3, that is placing your neck widths and the neck depths, you've known the calculations, we're going to look at the center back shape. Let us go to the center back shapings. That's our step number 4. The center back shapings, we shall have the chest line being shaped, the narrowest being shaped, the coat full length, that's the hip line being shaped, as well as the hemline. Now the shapings are as follows. The chest line, you will go in from the center back 0.5 inches. Then the narrowest line, you will go in by 1 inch. The coat full length, you will go, that's the hip line, you'll go in by 1 inch. Hemline allowance, still you will go in by 1 inch. But remember, these shapings are subject to change, but don't just draw a straight, don't just leave it hanging, because it will not bring that beautiful silhouette of the back. Remember, our bodies are not straight, so to get it is shaping, you have to do this. This is actually the standard one, but you can make adjustments on, making adjustments according to your client's preference. Then after you've done that, you will connect these lines, line C, line D, line E, and line F with a straight line, so that you will be able to see the shaping of that of the back. Then step 5, we shall see the back, across the back. Now the calculation, the vertical, the horizontal calculations of across the back, that's where we're going to make our vertical, that's where we're going to make our horizontal chest placements. We are going to get the chest measurements, mark my table very properly. We're going to get our chest measurements, divide by 4 minus 1 inch, that is case study our table of 36 inches, that's the chest, divide by 4 giving us 9, minus 1 inch, that will be 8 inches. Remember, add 0.5 seam allowance, so that will be 8.5. But when you're connecting, after connecting the, and we shall see it in the practical part of it, but these are just theoretical calculations, and you as a fashion student, you must know these calculations. They help you, and they really play a very big role in your day-to-day construction of a beautiful garment. Now we are going to line D as per our table. That is step number 6. That is, we are going to see the calculations of the tummy for the back panel. Remember, we are dealing these calculations that we are doing, they are calculations for the back part. So now the tummy stroke, the belly, we're going to divide the belly measurements by 6 plus 0.5 inches, that's the seam allowance. That is 34 inches divided by 6, giving us 5.6. Add 0.5 inches, that's the seam allowance. That will be 6.1 inches. Then step 7, that's line E. We're going to get hip measurements divided by 6 plus 0.75. I repeat, we're going to get hip measurements divided by 6 plus 0.75. That will be 37 divided by 6, giving us 6.1 plus 3/4, giving us 6.85. That is the hip line or the coat full length calculations for the back. Then we're going to see the side vent, the measurements that we are supposed to place in the side vent. That is step 8. We're going to line E. Line E, you will measure 7 inches upwards by 1.5 inches. That is 7 inches the length of the vent upwards, then by 1.5 inches. That is, you will be good to go. Master this, put in practicals, write, memorize, and analyze. Then when we reach in the practical part of it, you will not be getting any challenge in doing any calculations as far as coat constructions is concerned. This is what I had for you. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and if it has been good, my people, don't forget to give me a thumbs up.